Hi y'all, welcome and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about ethics in Captain America Civil War. So Captain America Civil War shows us a story where two of Marvel's most respected heroes come into sharp conflict, not over who's stronger or faster, but what's ethically right. At the heart of their disagreement lies a classical philosophical divide. Captain America believes we should always act according to principle, no matter what the outcome. Iron Man argues that sometimes we need to consider the consequences. Their debate reflects two major ethical frameworks, deontology and consequentialism, and it gives us a powerful lens to explore how moral theory plays out in complex, real-world situations. This is your spoiler alert! This video is going to have spoilers for the movies Captain America Civil War and The Avengers Age of Ultron. You have been warned. Let's start with deontology, the ethical view that Captain America represents. Deontologists, most famously Immanuel Kant, argue that morality is about duty and principle. Some actions are simply right or wrong, regardless of the outcome. If a rule or duty is just, we are obligated to follow it, no exceptions. For Cap, personal freedom and moral autonomy are non-negotiable. Signing away that freedom, even for a good cause, would be wrong in principle. On the other hand, Iron Man represents a consequentialist, or more specifically, utilitarian approach. Thinkers like Jeremy Bentham and John Stuart Mill argue that the morality of an action depends on its results. The right thing to do is whatever leads to the best outcome for the greatest number of people while producing the least amount of suffering. For Tony Stark, the Sokovia Accords are a compromise that might not be ideal, but if they help prevent future tragedies, they're worth accepting. And in between those two is virtue ethics, an approach rooted in the philosophy of Aristotle. Rather than focusing on rules or consequences, virtue ethics emphasizes moral character and practical wisdom. The goal is to become a good person, someone who consistently makes balanced, thoughtful decisions in complex situations. In Civil War, Spider-Man embodies this perspective. He's trying to figure out who he wants to be, weighing both sides carefully before taking action. His development reflects the process of moral growth, not just moral reasoning. Captain America and the deontological standpoint. Captain America believes that surrendering moral judgment to a political body, even a well-meaning one, is dangerous. From his experience, institutions can be corrupted and blindly following orders can lead to injustice. Captain America insists that individuals must be free to act according to their conscience, even when that's inconvenient or unpopular. From a deontological perspective, if something violates fundamental rights or principles, it's wrong, no matter how good the consequences might be. Steve Rogers puts it plainly, if I see a situation pointed south, I can't ignore it. That's moral duty in action. Iron Man and the utilitarian mindset. Iron Man feels personal responsibility for the collateral damage caused by the Avengers, especially in the destruction of Sokovia. He sees oversight not as a surrender of freedom, but as a necessary step towards accountability. According to utilitarian ethics, this makes sense. If regulation reduces future harm, then it's ethically justified, even if it limits individual autonomy. As Mark D. White writes in The Guardian, Tony views the Sokovia Accords as the least intrusive way to make ordinary people feel safe again. He's prioritizing the collective good, even if it costs him some personal freedom. Between these two poles is Spider-Man, who offers a different kind of moral perspective, virtue ethics. Rooted in Aristotle's philosophy, virtue ethics focuses on developing good character and practical wisdom. The goal is not just to follow rules or achieve outcomes, but to become the kind of person who makes the right decisions for the right reasons. Peter Parker explains his sense of responsibility this way. When you can do the things that I can't, but you don't, and then the bad things happen, they happen because of you. This isn't about strict duty or calculating consequences. It's about the kind of person he wants to be. In Civil War, we see him weighing both sides carefully, reflecting the process of moral growth. What makes Civil War so compelling is that neither side is portrayed as entirely right or wrong. Both Iron Man and Captain America recognize the ethical weight of the other's position. They just want to draw the line between liberty and security in different places. As Professor White writes, neither hero is dogmatic. Both understand the opposing view. So this isn't a battle between good and evil, it's a genuine clash of values handled with seriousness and respect. The philosophical questions raised in Civil War aren't limited to comic books or movies. We see similar debates in the real world about surveillance, about national security, about public health, about civil liberties. When do we accept limitations on freedom for the sake of safety? When should we resist pressure to compromise our principles? Pop culture helps us explore these difficult questions in an accessible way. By examining heroes we admire, we reflect more deeply on our own moral commitments. Here are some questions for you to consider. Is it ever acceptable to compromise moral principles? Should individual freedoms be limited for public safety? And which character's reasoning resonates with you, and why? Philosopher Mark D. White explores these ideas in greater depth in his book A Philosopher Reads Marvel Comics Civil War, exploring the moral judgment of Captain America, Iron Man, and Spider-Man. He argues that the conflict in Civil War reveals the deep philosophical commitments behind each character's choices and shows us how moral reasoning works under pressure. Alright everybody, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in more philosophy and pop culture videos, check out the playlist on the channel. Also, if you want to learn more about the big three of Western ethics, Kant, Mill, and Aristotle, we have videos on them as well. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you next time.